I've been gone for about 3 months, and my reasoning being I became a Dream stan. That isn't a joke, actually. It's sad, but it's the hard truth. But anyway, this video isn't about Dream. It's about the fandom and the musical 6. I pray I don't get canceled from this video, because I already know a lot of people are going to look at this as being like, she's being against feminism, or that I don't care about the message that it's supposed to be portraying. I do, I really do, but I'm just pointing out what's wrong. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I'm just going to talk about some of the stuff that I've heard 6, the musical fans, say a lot about the Hamilton fandom. And yes, I have a problem with the Hamilton fandom. The Hamilton fandom is like really, really bad, and it has its problems. But 6 fandom doesn't like to talk about how their musical has inaccuracies, but like Hamilton does, which both of them do. And 6 has a whole lot more inaccuracies than... Well, no, Hamilton is inaccurate to a certain point, and so is 6. There is no difference in that. Yes, I will be nitpicking at tiny stuff, and yes, I will be judging from a different time. But that really isn't important. I do what I want on this channel, and I talk about what I want on this channel. I'm gonna do this in sections, because that's the only way I know how to do videos. And let's pray I don't die while making or editing this video. Section 1. Historical inaccuracies. I see a lot of 6 fans hit at Hamilton for not being historically accurate, and I love to point out that 6 isn't historically accurate either. Let's talk about the way the musical shifts the personalities of Anne Boleyn and Jane Seymour. Anne Boleyn's personality isn't accurate at all. The musical made her seem like a party animal that didn't care about anything. It belittles her to a point. What she was the exact opposite of what she was painted as. Anne was a quite studious and focused woman, and expected the women in her household to conduct themselves with the highest morals. She had an English translation of the Bible in several different runes, so that her ladies could read God's words for themselves. Then Jane Seymour. There is no proof that she was going to stand near Henry no matter what. Actually, making her seem dependent on Henry was kinda messed up. He was abusive, and that's final. I really don't like the idea of her being dependent on him. It just looks bad. I'm not saying I don't enjoy Anne's personality or Jane Seymour's Heart of Stone, but it does paint a bad picture. And no, I'm not saying everything has to be historically accurate. I understand it's a musical. I'm just proving my point, and my point is 6 the musical isn't accurate and never will be. Section 2. The belittling of Katherine Howard's essay. What essay means will be put up on screen for everybody, because I can't say it, because YouTube will take me down. Love YouTube and their censorship. Okay, now the title of this section is slightly exaggerating, but my point still stands. Katherine Howard was 13 when her music teacher Henry Mannix had taken advantage of her. The musical says he was 23. He was 32. Now you all must be saying, Alex, what's the big deal? They had to change it to make it rhyme. And it's a musical. Not everything's going to be accurate. The problem is, when you look at it, he's 23. It's like, okay, that's messed up, but not too bad, at least. And I wish I could find the comments that said 23 isn't that bad back then, because it was normal for 13-year-olds to get married. I don't care. It's still bad. Also, Katherine never got married to Henry Mannix. He took advantage of her, and I'm deleting comments that said it was a different time and that I need to stop judging from a different time period. It's still wrong and it doesn't justify it. It explains it but doesn't justify it. Also, a reminder, because of these times that Katherine got taken advantage of, it got her head chopped off. Let's never forget that. Section 3, clothing designs. Okay, this is like a really, really weird sections. But I've heard people from the 6 fandom say, Hamilton only has color schemes and nobody thought about the outfits and Lynn only wanted money. So does 6 have only a color scheme. Also, if you want to hit at Hamilton's one not being historically accurate, then dude, shut up. 6 isn't even close. I'd like to say this right now, I'm not bashing 6 the musical or saying it's not good. I'm just pointing out how some fans talk about Hamilton and proving that 6 isn't innocent at all. And it has its inaccuracies. You guys just like to ignore it, or then you guys will talk about it. But then when you guys talk about it, you guys slightly don't bring it into much light. Yes, I understand this is a musical and not everything's gonna be accurate, but you guys don't put Hamilton in that light. Also, people who are saying that Hamilton had no thought in their costumes is disrespectful to the people who took their hard-earned time to design it and make them and put them together and all of that. So, really, this section is short, but I just had to say that. Section 4. Anna of Cleves. This section is more of me sympathizing with her. Really, also, the musical paints her in a light that she had control of the castle or what was going on, or that she was flirting with other guys, which wasn't the case, because if you ever did that back then, you would get killed. That's it. Anna of Cleves came from Germany, meaning that she had no idea how to speak English. And Henry couldn't get off his butt and learn German fully because you already know Henry, he's lazy. So that left Anne to be confused and have very little idea what's going on. They also made it seem like things were not as bad for Anna and that she had a happier outcome, which she did. Getting Sister of the King as a title is great, but I'm saying she went through a lot during that time, and I don't think anyone understands that, and the musical didn't mention it either. Section 5, complaining about how the Hamilton fandom pretends that only the OBC cast exists. Yes, the fandom does pay a lot of attention to the OBC cast, but don't you dare act like you did not. Only listen to the Millie O'Connell version of Anne Boleyn, because you saw her in the bootlegs. Then be like, Millie should have been in the cast recordings. You would be lying if you didn't. OBC casts make the musicals feel good. They embodiment the character that they are given. It's not ignoring the new cast. And I'm glad that the 6 fandom is able to adjust to new casts, but don't get mad that other fandoms for that don't. Especially if the fandom that you're criticizing already has enough to be criticized on. Also, just because you guys say goodbye to your cast doesn't mean Hamilton has to, or every musical I've listened to has to. We all stick to the OBC cast. It's not us ignoring them. It's just a fandom. Like Heather's sticks with their OBC, or Be More Chill with theirs. Hamilton will do the same thing. Stop expecting that they won't. Section 6. Disclaimer. Again, I'm not bashing 6 for not being historically accurate. I'm not saying that musicals should teach you everything. I'm saying that before you attack Hamilton for its inaccuracies, you should take 6 off its pedestal. Yes, the musical message is great. I still enjoy it. Actually, I love 6, and I will always love that musical. I'm just pointing out the reasons why we shouldn't go too hard on Hamilton. Yes, it's inaccurate, and yes, the fandom is really bad. But you guys act like 6 is the saving grace of musical, and it's not. Nothing is perfect about it. It's just not it. It's not going to be perfect, and I know that, and I understand it's just a musical. And also, at the end of the day, it's just a musical. Who cares?